Today, Sophie, we are going to be reading a special book. This one is a sound search book. So we're going to be searching for some sounds that we hear that we've been learning in our foundations time, okay?
Okay.
So the title of this book is Fabric of the Andes. Look how beautiful that is. That's illustrations by John Joven. I'm wondering where they are. Let's see. So now let's read the teaser. Let's read the back of that book. Let's figure out a little bit more what this book's about, okay? Fabric of the Andes. Travel to Peru and join Tupa and his family as they use wool to make fabric. What can you learn about making fabric?
Fabric is a type of cloth that you use to make masks.
So we've talked a little bit about fabrics before, huh? Because your grandma, she sews a lot and she uses different fabrics, doesn't she? So we're going to learn now about how they make that fabric. Yeah, so that'll be fun to see.
Fun to see and fun to learn.
Okay, Fabric of the Andes. Illustrations by John Joven. We're going to be looking at the letters T, B, and F. Okay, what sound does T make? What sound does B make?
B.
And then F? Okay, so let's see. On this page, it's going to show us, let me scooch us up. It's going to show us some of the pictures that are going to be in our book that start with those letters, T, B, and F. So let's look at some on here. Can you point to the tomatoes? You can just show me on here. Just point on there. There you go. She's pointing right here. Good. Can you point to the tools? Let's look at this one. So that has
That's a table.
Table, yeah. And what do you see on top of it? Some scissors.
Tools.
Yeah. So look over here.
These are the tools.
Those are the tools. Good. There's that close up of the tools. It looks like a scissors. What else does it look like is on there?
It looks like scissors. It looks like a bar, and it looks like a knife.
I wonder what those tools are used for. We'll have to see. Okay. Now let's look at our next row that has with that B sound. Can you find the bell?
Bell.
The bell. Good. Where do you see the bell? What's it on?
A doggy.
The dog's collar has a bell on it. It does. Bell. What sound does bell start with?
B.
Good. Now let's look on the F row. Can you find something that, oh, I know how what we just talked about. Can you find fabric?
Fabric. Fabric.
Yeah, there's a fabric. Can you find a face?
Face.
There's his face, and next to his face is the father on there. Okay, so we're going to look through some of these. What sound do we hear for fabric, face, and father?
All of them have an F.
So, what sound though? They all have that F sound. Good. Ooh, and look on here. Do you know what that's called?
Fog.
Fog. Yeah, it was kind of foggy this morning. Hard to see with the fog out. Okay, let's read now and let's do our search. Okay, you ready? I'm going to move us back down to here so you can see everything in this cool picture. Tupa and his family live in the mountains of Peru. Oh, which one do you think Tupa might be?
The boy.
You think so? Working together, the family uses wool from alpacas to make fabric. Learn about this process as you search for illustrations that begin with the sounds of the letters T, B, and F. Okay. Can you find Tupa?
Tuba is the sheep.
Tupa, well, let's see. It says Tupa and his family live in the mountains of Peru.
Tuba seems like.
Okay, so there's tuba, yeah. And do you remember what this was called? This is called an alpaca. An alpaca, yeah. Okay, let's look at now. Can you find the bird? A bird. Here, just point to it on there, and I'll. A bird, good. And can you find the fog? Oh, all of that does look so foggy. Now, I just want you to look. Is there anything else you can see on this page that starts with one of those sounds?
Um,
There's something I see inside of the alpaca's mouth. You see his tooth? Yeah, tooth. What sound does tooth start with?
I
Good.
know about alpacas because alpacas have big ears and they're also furry. They have lots of fur and they
What's
also
that
have
word
their
you just said?
fur.
What sound does fur start with? Can you see that anywhere on him? Yeah, good. There's the fur that you can see with him. So they have, actually, leave them right there. So you can see that fur with them on there. Good. Okay, let's look on. Is there anything else on this page that you see
Yes.
that starts with a T, B, or F sound? Okay, what do you see?
I see his family.
Oh, family. Good. That might be his family.
In the background.
Yeah, that could be his family.
Oh, and another alpaca, but it's really hard to see.
Another alpaca. Yeah. Does that start? Does alpaca start with a T, the or F
No.
sound? No, but you're right. There is another alpaca in there. Okay.
It looks like there's 3 alpacas in
There are. And look at what color is that bird that you found?
there. Blue.
Blue. Would that fit into our sound search?
Mm-hmm.
Good. It has the bus sound. Okay, let's keep going. First, Tupa's brother uses a tool to shear an alpaca. To shear the alpaca means to cut its
Cut its
wool
fur.
off, yeah. While his father holds the animal, Tupa and his mother spin the wool to make it into yarn. Oh. What do you see that begins with the sound of the letter T? What begins with the sound of the letter F? Let's do the T first. What do you see on this page that begins with a T sound? The T.
Tools.
Tools. Yeah,
Tools are right there.
there's the tools. You're right. And what do you see those tools on?
The fur. They use the scissors for fur.
Okay, there's fur. Yeah, the fur. What do you see that the tools are on top of?
Purple stuff is the paper.
What's
and
the brown?
Stuff is.
What does that word start with? Table. Yeah, good. What else do you see?
I see something else.
What?
Fox.
Oh, you found the fox. Yeah, that does start with that F sound. Nice job. Is there anything else you see?
Yes.
What else?
You know what? This is weird. So there's a T and an F, but there's no B.
Yeah, there's no B on this page. We're just looking for those 2 letters on this page, huh? I see.
I see.
Oh, do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see. This one, I see it starts with a B.
Okay, what?
Dog.
Mm.
Dog.
What sound does dog start with?
D.
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 So what letter is that one?
B.
Let's listen. D, dog, D.
D. D.
Dog starts with a D.
D.
D. Yeah, the D. So the dog wouldn't work on there. But you know what I see? I see a toy, a ball, and flowers. Which one starts with a T sound?
Toy.
The toy, yeah.
And I also see boy.
Okay, you could
Boy and brother.
boy and brother. Those would start with that b sound. Did I say anything else that might start with that f sound when I was reading it?
Flower.
Flowers. Good. Is there anything else on this page? Are we ready to go on to the next one?
Bag.
Yeah, we might see some more when we look at it the next time through. Let's see. Okay. Next, the family finds bugs and flowers. Tupa's mother uses them to dye the wool in a pot over the fire. What do you see that begins with the sound of the letter B?
Bugs.
Bugs. There's a bug.
Bugs and fire.
What does fire start with? So that one begins with the sound. There's a fire. What else? Oh, there's the fire down there, right?
They find bugs, and Mom cooks the bugs so they can eat them.
Oh.
So I don't think
So when Mom's cooking, what happens with the water when it gets really hot? Do you know what that's called?
it's called boiling.
To boil the water. What sound does that start with? So that boils the water. It gets really hot.
Boils.
So do you think they're cooking them to eat?
They're cooking them to eat because I think these are people in the back days when we were alive.
Oh, you think so? Maybe the olden days, like a while ago?
Yeah.
Well, and then what else were they cooking though with the bugs?
Leaves.
They're cooking on there. She says, let's listen to this again. Next, the family finds bugs and flowers.
I guess we're using the flowers of the nectar to make them taste like honey.
Well, let's see if they're going to eat them. Let's see what the text said. Tupa's mother uses them to dye the wool in a pot over the fire.
To dye.
To dye the wool. Do you know what that means, to dye the wool?
No.
That means to change their color. So they're trying to make it, see how it has all these different colors?
Yeah, I think they're doing that so they can make clothes.
Yeah,
like
so
coats. I think they're
yep, so they're going to use those flowers and those bugs. They're not eating them. They're using them to dye the wool. Let's see. Tupa's mom and aunt build a loom with bars. They toss balls of yarn back and forth. They wind the yarn around the bars and tug on the end to tighten it. So do you see their loom here?
Mm-hmm.
The loom is what they use to weave all of that wool to make into fabric.
Question.
Yes.
So one of the words.
Uh-huh.
One of the words starts with a B.
What word?
Build.
Oh, you heard one of those words that they would build a loom. Yeah, so that word does start with a B. Good. What do you see here that begins with the sound of the letter T? Let's see, toys. What's something that you have 10 of on your foot? What are those? Toes. So let's look right here. Do you see her toes on there? Okay.
Yeah.
What's something else that you might see on this one?
There's
with the
sticks and strings.
What's this? Yeah, what's the baby doing?
The baby is playing.
Yep, and what's they doing with the ball of yarn?
Throwing it.
Throwing it, yeah, and you know what else the baby I think might be doing? Might be tossing the ball of yarn to Tupa, huh?
I think it's tossing the yarn.
You think so?
To them.
To them to use? They might be with that. Okay, so now I want you to, to think on there. Do you see any that start with that B sound? Yeah, what do you see?
Boy.
Boy.
And baby.
Boy. There's
Baby.
boy and baby. Anything else?
Bag.
Bag. Blue bird. Good. And I was noticing something. It wasn't, it's not the front of her, but it's the
Back.
It's her back. Yeah. Let's look. Next, the women start to weave. They use their fingers and tools to turn the balls of yarn into fabric. What do you see that begins with the sound of the letter T? Oh, there's a lot on this page, huh?
Boy. I see something that says the B. Bell.
Mm-hmm.
With a bell from the dog's collar.
Okay.
And T.
What else?
T for toy. Toy.
Those could be toys. And what do you notice about these toys? What shape are they in?
Square.
Mm-hmm. That you build with? And you might...
It's called blocks.
Yeah, blocks on there. Yeah, and is there anything else that you notice with that F sound? Might not be. I don't see any. Do you see any? Do you know a silly one that I see? I see something on the dog that's coming out of his mouth. A tongue. Look at his tongue. I see his tongue. What does his tongue start with? Good. Is there anything else on this page you want to share before we go on? That you see?
They're using the string to make an instrument, it looks like.
Oh, maybe an instrument. So the loom, remember we talked about the loom? How they weave it together.
Yeah.
They're going to weave it together. It says they use their fingers and tools to turn the balls of yarn into fabric. So we've used fabric before, but we haven't seen how it's made. This is how the fabric that you were talking about with the masks that you helped Nini make, this is how they make that fabric. See, they're weaving that together on their loom. Let's look here. Finally, Tupa's family goes to the market. They sell the blankets and bags made from the fabric. What do you see that begins with the sound of the letter T? What begins with the sound of the letter B and the letter F?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Those are from our sound search, weren't they? Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Blueberries.
Maybe blueberries.
And
I do see those. What would pepper start with?
oh,
It's okay. What do you see? What do you see on this table?
toys. And
Fabric.
Baby.
To hold the baby.
And there's a fabric.
You're right. There is fabric in both places. So you know what I see? I see a hat, a flute, and a finger puppet. Which one starts with that F sound?
Flute.
Yeah, and what else? I actually said two that time. Flute
Flute. Finger puppet.
and finger puppet. We have some finger puppets, don't we?
Yeah, but
Yeah, there's flutes and finger puppets. They both start with what sound? Good, let's keep going. Oh, so about the fabric of the Andes. So later what we're going to do, tomorrow, we're going to do a retell of this book because I want to have you tell us about how the fabric is made because this book told us all the steps, didn't it? So alpacas live in the Andes Mountains of South America. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it better, okay? People raise alpacas for their fine, soft wool. The wool keeps alpacas warm in the high, cold upper regions of the mountains.
Yep.
Special red blood cells help alpacas breathe the thin air of the Andes where there is not much oxygen. Ah, didn't know that. Alpacas are related to camels. Cool. The two animals are similar in many ways. Both have long necks and legs. Both have feet with two large toes. That's so silly. Their mouths have a split upper lip that can move separately. The split lips helps the animals pull their food from the ground. Oh, I might have to watch that up close to see that. Look at that. So let's look at.
If you guys didn't notice, the alpaca has the same tail, fur, everything else has the same thing, but the splitted lip, llamas don't have that.
Okay. So you are maybe a little more familiar with llamas, aren't we? Because we've seen some llamas before. So Tupa and his family, they live high in the Andes Mountain in the country of Peru, right? There they keep a herd of alpacas. They use alpaca wool to make beautiful cloth. So I want you to look tomorrow. We're going to go through this page and then I'm going to have you retell this book. Okay?
Okay.
And then we'll search for some more sounds that maybe we didn't find the first time we read it. You did a great job reading. Say bye to your friends on there.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to my story.